her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me.
Sounds like me eating gum, doesn't it? Welcome, everybody, to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. And that, for the record, on that video clip was me at the very end, but it wasn't me in the middle of it. That wasn't me chewing on a pork chop or something like that. That was the work. That last little video segment was the work of our good friend, Mr. Unknown. He's in the YouTube chat often, and he makes those things for us. He's got some more that he's made for me, but I haven't put him on deck yet. It's in the bucket list of things I want to do, but welcome, everybody. Hope you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for coming in and being a part of the journey. I am actually chewing on gum, so I was trying that out. Just make sure I had enough slippery stuff in my mouth so I could talk without sounding like I was chewing on cotton balls. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing great. Thank you so much. It's Sunday night. I know it's the end of the weekend, but Mondays can be great too. Let's not undersell Mondays. Let's go into it with positive vision and manifest the day that you want. Let's manifest Monday as an awesome day. Like, oh my God, Monday is going to be so cool. Mondays rock. Good thing you guys don't have like the ability to throw virtual tomatoes. Like, but anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. This is our Night Terrors. The Night Terrors are our shorter format paranormal portals that take about an hour. And we discuss basically one phenomena per night. Sometimes we put a few in, and then we call it something else. But this is the Ghostly Encounters night, and we're going to be covering ghostly encounters, as it were. So this is one of my favorite topics. It's something I think most everybody either has had their own ghostly encounters or knows somebody that has. I think of all the paranormal phenomena, everybody understands ghostly encounters of some kind or ghostly phenomena. So I think it's the most relatable, but great to see all you guys coming in the door and being a part of the journey. So I'm not alone here. I am also joined by part of my family tree, one of the branches on my long line of family tree. It is the branch I like to commonly call Sheldon Thomas. Hello, my branch. How you doing?
Hello. I decided to pop some gum in and just join in on the gum spree.
So we're all just like chewing gum?
Yeah.
Let's just sit here and smack gum in our lips. So anyways, I was like thinking about ghosts. No, I'm just kidding.
Ghosts, yeah.
Welcome to the show. We are going to do ghostly phenomena. What am I forgetting? Oh, the phone lines, of course, will be open throughout the course of our journey tonight. If you want to call in and you have a ghostly phenomena story of your own, by all means, feel free to call in and be a part of the discussion. And you can do that by calling 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. And since we're on YouTube exclusively tonight, it's on your screen right above my head, right up there. That's where it is. And Sheldon's helping to direct your gaze. So it's up there. If you want to call in and be a part of our discussion, that's great. We'd love to hear from you. That's always an option, but it's not a requirement. So if you're sitting here and just enjoying yourself, feel free to do that. Sheldon, your camera died for a second. There you go.
Yeah, it kicked me out of the Skype, so.
Oh, did it?
Had to reconnect quick.
That happened last night, actually, when I was doing my show with Deb. And it might have to do with the length of the connection, because we were like 4 hours, and all of a sudden Skype just kicked me out of everything. It's like, boom, it was all gone. But
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
we were able to recover it, got Deb back on the horn, and got the caller back on the horn. That was Lady Death who had called in. She is a longtime friend of the show. But anyway, if you missed the show last night, we had the special guest was the Paranormal Portal psychic herself, Miss Deborah Varner. She was on the show and did a great job. We did 4 hours of show, and she did all the heavy lifting. It was really pretty remarkable. But she is very much the real thing. She is really an incredible person, a wonderful soul in and of her own right, but she's just so compassionate and loving, and you just get this real loving grandmotherly vibe from Deb. She's just one of those people that, if you know, when you talk to her, you know her, because she's not a person that plays games. That's who she is. And she's very, very much gifted in the psychic vision as well. So it's really, really cool. But we had a great show last night, and if you missed that, you can always catch the replay. But if you want a reading of your own, you can definitely catch up with Deb at, again, I'm going to say the email address you can email, Purple Mystic Reader, all one word, purplemysticreader@gmail.com. So she's just marvelous. She's just marvelous. So, oh, hi, Robin Moonshadow. How you doing? Robin Moonshadow is our many-time guest on the show, too. She does proto-pygmies and little people research, as well as Bigfoot and the big cryptids. But she does little cryptids, too, which is really cool. She's been on the show many times. But good to see you, Robin. Thanks for stopping in. So, as I was saying, ghostly encounters for the night. Sheldon, you ready to do some ghostly encounters?
As always. Always.
As always, always? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. Hang on, ladies and gentlemen, because it's time for bed. All right. One more. Forgot to roll the second one. All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are now fully underway here on the Paranormal Portal, and let's get into some ghostly encounters. Sheldon?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure you're paying attention. You've had ghostly encounters too, right?
Absolutely.
Would you care to share one of them?
Yes. The scariest one I ever encountered.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I don't know how many years ago, maybe around 5-ish years ago, probably by now.
Uh-huh.
It started out as a dream. I was, obviously I was sleeping. It was nowhere I've been before. I was right beside this white house,
mm-hmm.
and it was a bright sunny day. It was nice. And then all of a sudden it started raining and storming.
Oh.
And all of a sudden there was this voice that kept echoing through. It didn't make much sense to me, but it kept saying, "Hurt me, please hurt me. I want you to hurt me."
Oh.
Which, I mean, it was freaky in the dream, but it didn't make sense. Like, that's one thing I remember. And I woke up to, like, this is what woke me. It felt like literally like a hand. Like, I could literally feel like the fingers and everything, like on my skull and all that, pushing my head into the pillow.
Wow.
And I mean, that's how I woke up. I woke up with that just like sudden, like boom, like right into the pillow. I woke up and I got really scared because that's how I woke up.
Yeah.
But I realized what was happening. I didn't think it was a break-in or anything. I don't know. I knew that it was something spiritual at least. Mm-hmm. I remember getting mad and just like throwing, because it felt like it was like behind me, like it was an arm reaching around from behind me.
Uh-huh.
So I remember swinging my arm around to like hit whatever was there, and nothing happened. I mean, nothing was there, but that's basically, it's a really short one, but that's the scariest one I've ever had.
Did the pressure let up right away as soon as you swung your arm?
As soon as I got angry, as soon as I went from fear to anger. That's the only reason I was able to twist over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because actually there's some different cultures have different ways of dealing with spiritual presences, but a Chinese way is to get angry, yell obscenities, scream, get mad. Like that is what is encouraged of people when they're dealing with a negative spiritual presence, is to get angry and, rah, get the hell out of here, and use all these profane words and stuff, just really express your anger, and that's supposed to push them away. Other more spiritual-minded cultures, like, of course, Christianity and even Islam is to cite either the Bible or the Quran and to, recite or invoke the name of, either the Prophet Muhammad or Jesus or whatever, as it's relevant to each religion. So it's very interesting that there's such different approaches. And now this is one of the things that has occurred to me years and years ago, and I talk about it many times on the show, is that I think it doesn't matter, and please don't take this to mean that I don't subscribe to religion, because I really am truly a very, very religious person. I just have my own understanding of what that means. And so I don't ever mean to imply that religion is silly or stupid, but what I think it is that you can't, there is no one size fits all. The one key common denominator in spiritual attacks is that whatever you're using, you have to believe in it. It has to be powerful to you. So in other words, if you're a devout Christian, let's say, for instance, then you invoke the name of Jesus Christ, and it's a powerful barrier against negativity. However, if you're an atheist and you invoke the name of Jesus and have no faith or belief in it, you might as well be saying cotton candy, because it doesn't have that connection, and that I think the magnifier of these things is us, the people experiencing it. So when we have a belief in something, that's what makes it powerful. That is the key to faith. Faith is what makes it powerful. And certainly the Bible says it's, in many places, but it talks about, even if you had the faith of a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, remove and fall into the sea, and it would do so. So faith is the key, I think, for anything, is that you have to believe in it. But this isn't a spiritual one-on-one defense course or anything. But I just think that that's important to mention, because certainly anger can be a powerful thing, as can, prayer and love and many other different approaches, or just, gathering your energy to yourself and centering yourself, because, I think a lot of times these spiritual attacks try to take you off of your center and take you out of your comfort and make you feel like a victim, like you're powerless, but you're never powerless. So I just thought it was important to throw that out there, since you did bring that up. And I was like, that's Chinese also respond that way. So very interesting. But
Yeah.
at any rate, go ahead.
Spirit Stalker 151 said, "I would hate to be his bed partner. He might knock me out."
You didn't need those teeth anyway.
And then Sissy asked, "Are you sensitive, Sheldon? Only if you had it more than once." That was the worst one. I've never had anything as intense as that one, but I've had other things happen too. Yeah, like spiritual encounters, I guess, like that has happened before that moment.
Yeah. I think you've always had a sensitivity towards those energies, I think, to a degree, more so. And you're as you grew older, I think you became more in tune to it than you were when you were younger, I think. But, it's hard to say. But you've certainly always, I think, been aware of those kind of things. So.
Yeah. And, it makes sense to me why, like you were saying, I didn't know that the Chinese used to use it in their spirituality. But it makes sense why it works, because when you're angry, it might come from fear, but you're no longer scared. You made, whether it was a mental decision to do it, or whether it's instinct at the moment, depending on the circumstance. Anger is, I feel like it can be empowering in a way. It's an empowering emotion. So it makes sense to me why it worked in that moment, and I guess it makes sense why the Chinese use it.
Yeah, It seems to work for them, I think, for the most part. Maybe not, but that's what they tell each other anyway. I don't know. Never been on a Chinese ghost hunting trip, so I don't know how it works. I've seen videos, of course, where people are getting scared and they start yelling and they chase down the hall and, they try to run at it. And, and I think that oftentimes these spiritual presences are not malicious for the most part. I think that they're probably a lot of times mischievous or maybe just curious. And so they might just see how people react. I mean, again, if you were left in a position where you got to stare at a closet for eternity, then anybody that comes along is going to be like, hey, this is interesting. Let's see where this goes, because it's better than just staring at the closet. So, I'm just thinking maybe that's the case. But anyway, we're going to get into some spiritual encounters, ghostly encounters tonight, and we'll dive more into it. Let me get this all queued up here, Sheldon, if you don't mind. Even if you do mind, it's not going to matter much.
True.
Here we go. Let's see. Is it? I think I read this one last night. I gotta look. No, I don't think I did. Maybe I didn't. All right. This is where we're going to start. This is an article from Factinate.com. And this is, we started it the other night. I don't know. Did you and I go through this a little bit? I think we did. I think we might have on Thursday, but maybe not. At any rate, we're going to get into it again tonight. We're on number 7, allegedly. I hope if I've read this already, we're going to read it again just because,
Why not?
I'm committed at this point. So
yeah.
Or I'm committable, one of the two. But number 7 on this list from Factinate, and this is real life supernatural encounters. The Mystery Man is number 7. It says, my mother did all her OBGYN appointments with a doctor in downtown Austin. Oh my God, I know. I think I know why I thought I read this, because I've read this story before, but it was not on this article. But anyway, that you'll find that all the time with the paranormal. The same stories will be repeated through many different sites. They're just all aggregated from Reddit for a lot of cases. But anyway, in downtown Austin, and he was on the 5th floor of this hospital building and had a longtime receptionist named Allison. I remember going to her with her appointments when I was little, and my mom would always make a game out of finding the office and being in the waiting room, which was colorfully decorated with a forest scene. Allison was a super sweet woman who was basically a babysitter for us kids too. She would read books to us, provide coloring books, and occasionally even listen to our dreadful knock-knock jokes. We all referred to her as Alice in Wonderland. Oh, that's cute. I think I said the same thing when I read it last time. Anyway, years down the road, I got married and pregnant and started searching for an OBGYN since I'd moved back to Austin recently. My mother suggested that I see if that doctor, who was super young when I was born, was still in business. Well, I couldn't find his name in the hospital directory, so I figured I'd just swing by the office and check. My mom happened to be in town. She had moved years ago and came with me, and we both joked about it being so familiar but in reversed situations now. Well, as we reached the stairs, we ran into an eerie problem. There was no 5th floor of this hospital office building. Odd. We both must have misremembered it. We knew it was on one of the top floors, so it must have been the 4th. Nope, not there. And then we thought maybe we were in the wrong building, except we parked in the same parking garage from 20 years ago and walked the same route. The doctor does not exist. Never did, apparently. My mom and I are the only ones who remember him in Alice in Wonderland. And we've asked around, including among hospital staff, and we even looked up our birth certificates, which are new copies, but it just lists attending physician. One of my childhood memories is fake. That was by Sand Dargan. That's weird. So did they actually see this doctor that doesn't exist? Or is it just a false memory? But would they both have it? Very curious. The ghostly doctor office.
I'm sorry. I read a comment. Hit that like button like it's a red-headed stepchild, folks.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God.
Oof. All right.
Oof.
Wow.
Oh, no.
I can't even give you a rim shot on that one. Sorry, man.
Yep.
That's too brutal. No, love your redheaded stepchildren too, folks.
Yes,
Love
absolutely.
all children. All right, number 8, gut feeling. I was 17 at the time, and me and my dad just finished our fishing trip, and it was almost midnight in mid-autumn. When I was about to get in the car, he told me that he did not want me to sit in the front seat on the ride home. We argued about it for about 5 minutes. He did not give any good reason as to why he did not want me to. Well, I gave up and got in the back seat, which was pitch black outside, and we'd been driving on the main road for about 2 minutes when we saw a car driving in our lane. Right as we were about to collide, my dad swerved into the other lane, and so did the car in front of us. And that's when I heard my dad say something that still haunts me. He muttered, "I knew it," at the very last second, and then blacked out. I woke up when the ambulance showed up at the scene, and the EMTs helped me out of the car. I was barely conscious and don't remember much after that, but there's one thing that's still crystal clear. I saw my dad sitting in that car waving at me with tears in his eyes. Later, when I asked where my dad was, they told me he had flown out the car window and landed a few feet from the car. They had put him in an ambulance, but he didn't make it. They also told me that the man we crashed into lost his life, but that's not all. He was driving with his 17-year-old daughter, and she only survived because she'd been sitting in the back seat like me. I still can't believe this really happened. This was 6 years ago. Wow.
Oh.
That is powerful. Huh. So they both parents apparently had a premonition that something was coming. That is really, really wild.
And we're saved somehow.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if those two ever got together. It's like,
hey, maybe it's a sign, yeah.
Stranger Things, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's pretty bizarre. Number 9 is Deja Vu. Who was that? Was from Fiel File? I don't know. How to
Also,
yes.
Ghost. I completely forgot to read this from the last story. Ghost Magnet says Mandela Effect for the last story.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, could it be a Mandela Effect? The missing doctor's office, is that one of those things?
Right.
Those are great. A great discussion point. Mandela Effects, I think, are incredibly powerful because there's so many things that don't add up. So many people, and a lot of people like to say, "Oh, they're just glitches in people's memory." But how do you explain large portions of the population having the same glitch in their memory? That doesn't add up. That's not how that works. It's not how it should work.
Yeah.
And if it is indeed people having the same memory of something that doesn't exist the same way anymore, then it really does, to me, lend a lot of credence to the potential that there is a very real phenomena going on where maybe we are sidestepping through different versions of reality. Maybe it is, as simple as that. Like maybe something happened in our at some key point that started throwing us on these weird trajectories through the multiverse. Maybe our consciousness just shifts suddenly and we're in a different version of ourselves. I don't know.
The shift has got to be so seamless that we don't notice it, like that seamless.
Well, it's almost perfectly seamless, except for the fact that people do have these memory artifacts that don't line up with the given circumstances. So it's almost perfect. You're right.
Yeah, like it has to be. It could even. It's, of course we don't know, but it could even be an explanation of maybe parallel universes combining into one. I don't know. Right.
Shocktoberfest with Paranormal Portal. I like that paradox. That's good. Shocktoberfest. Ooh, do I hear a parathon coming? It'd be Shocktoberfest. Hours and hours of the Paranormal Portal. Oof. Those are hard shows to do. Just doing 4 hours last night was like, ooh. It's been a long time since I did that much show. So,
yeah.
All right, let's get back to our list. But thank you guys for your comments. I like that. I like it. Deja Vu, number 9. When I was in high school, my mom, my little sister, and I would eat dinner together every evening and tell each other about our days. At the time, my sister was young and still in elementary school. On one Monday during summer break, we were all having dinner, and my sister told us about how she and our next door neighbors were playing with their new cats when it got loose outside. They had to spend the whole day looking for it. Fast forward 2 days later, and my sister told me the exact same story she had told 2 days prior. My mom and I looked at each other funny because we both clearly remembered the cat story. When we asked her if she had mistaken the day, she just gave us this blank look and said she had no memory of it, but it got even creepier. When we called our neighbors to ask them about the cat incident, they told us all of it happened the same day, Wednesday, and they weren't even in town on Monday, so my sister told us a story 2 days before it happened and had no memory of it. How is that possible? Where was my sister on Monday? We still don't know what happened. That's by Schofield_me. Wow. So she had a premonition of sorts, or some version of her did. I don't know. It's very strange. That's a very strange story.
Yeah, these are fascinating ones.
They really are. They're, I thought there were going to be more ghostly encounters. That's why I called the Night Terrors Ghostly Encounters. But it sounds like it's more strange phenomena to me. Well, anyway.
Maybe that's one maybe that's what that article's from, is when we were doing strange phenomenon.
Yeah, it could be, but it's had some ghostly ones on there. Of course, the doctor could be ghostly, but it could be multidimensional too. Number 10, flippin' scary. Hate those flippin' scary things. Oh my God. All right. I woke up to a weird feeling and saw an opaque silhouette of a little boy standing on the other side of the apartment, facing me. Ghost story. I turned on my light and it was gone. When I turned my light off, I saw it again. I flipped the light back on and went over to make sure it was nothing, that there was nothing that could be causing this weird shadow. There was nothing there that would have created that specific shape, and it was standing in the pathway between my couch and wall, so it couldn't have been a shadow. I turned my light off again and it was there, flipped it back on, and slept with the light on for the rest of the night. Couldn't sleep without the light for days. And it's written by I Should Probably Sleep. Probably be asleep. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's horrible. That would be really, really weird. Now, there again, is that possibly maybe not ghostly, but maybe it's more multidimensional? Maybe there's certain circumstances that happen, and what they are, I couldn't even begin to fathom what the possibilities would be, because when I'm saying these, I'm not talking about necessarily an awareness in the person. It could be an awareness this person has just at that moment, given a certain set of circumstances. But could it also just be that the environmental factors were just right? And how do you figure that out? This is the tough part. This is why it's just such a labyrinth of possibilities, It really is.
Yeah.
Huh. But it makes you think. Really makes you think. All right, the next one. Shadowy Figure. I remember, did you turn your mic off? Did I just hear that?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm here.
I thought I heard a click. I was like, oh, I think you just turned it off. Okay.
Oh, that was me. I accidentally bumped it.
Oh, gotcha. I remember when I was around 7 or 8, I had pretty bad sleep paralysis. One night I went to bed at some point, I began having what I thought was an episode, but on top of that, not being able to move or scream, I started hearing static. That's when I realized this time was different, in the worst way. Looking at the foot of my bed, there was the shadow of an adult figure just sitting there, I guess. I know it's common to see and hear things when you have sleep paralysis because your mind is going into self-defense mode. But what freaks me out about that night is that I later fell asleep and dreamt that I was in the exact situation again. Only I was able to move and project my voice that time around. I really couldn't explain it. It's just so bizarre. I completely lost it and started throwing everything around the room, kicking and screaming. The shadow got up, opened the door, and left. In the morning, I woke up and my room was a mess. The covers were on the floor and my bedroom door was open, and there was something about that dream that always felt so real to me. 20 plus years ago now, and it's as fresh in my mind as it is now as it was then. Yeah, that's horrible. Oh, look at that shadowy picture. That's creepy. Creepy. Yeah, those whole shadow figure things are really, really weird. So
I wonder if that's in because it actually kind of reminds me of dreams I used to have as a kid. Where I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, or if this is a phenomenon that can be explained, but do you ever have dreams where nothing particular is happening? Nothing's happening in it. Nothing special. I don't know. You could in the dream you could be sitting in your house, whatever. Nothing's happening, and yet there's a moment that comes and you are terrified out of your mind. But there's no reason to be. There's nothing you can see. It's only like a feeling in the dream, and you just feel absolutely terrified for no reason.
No, I don't. I'm not familiar with that personally. Why? I don't know what that could mean. It's anybody's guess, I guess. But I guess. But it's is there an awareness, or is it a different kind of sleep paralysis where the feeling of terror that comes is maybe an awareness of something coming, and it's got you in this state of compulsion, like you're in this situation. And is it a very lucid dream, like you can see everything really clearly?
The thing is in those kind of dreams, I'm aware I'm dreaming. Yeah, I am aware.
Right. But it's almost like a glamour, like you hear about fairy magic, and it's a glamour where they put you in the state where you think it's something, but you're in a completely different situation in reality. So is that a case of that? And it's possible. There do seem to be some entities, and I do mean entities in the true sense, because I don't know that they're actually spirits. I don't know that they're not. I mean, they're something that seem to exist either as both, or they're two entirely different things, or there's many different things. But they do seem to prey upon people. And I've got some experience with shadow people, and some experiences I've never shared. There's some things I don't know how to share that I've experienced. And I know I've told you personally, Sheldon, but I haven't. It's not something that I would know how to share with you guys, because it's so strange and surreal, and it would require me to go into a whole series of explanations in order for it to make sense. But sure. I do think that there are these beings that exist, and there may be very positive shadow people. I mean, just the fact that something appears as a shadow, I don't think in and of itself is indicative of it being positive, negative, or otherwise. I mean, it's just the way they appear to us. I think that spirits can appear however they choose to. So perhaps normal, formerly human ghostly spirits would choose to appear like a shadow so that they're less distinct. But I think that there are some that do wonderful things. Like there's the possibility that there are some that feed on negative energy, but that's a utilitarian kind of thing. That's a good thing. Like they come and feed off of the negative energy, and therefore are cleansing it and cleansing people in the process. Now, I think there are others that just feed off of energy, and I don't think that they're good at all. I think that they're very much like a huge wood tick that would suck you dry, and I think that they prey on the weaker, or on either the very young or the very old and infirmed, oftentimes, and I think they just wait. They have nothing but time. They just wait. And when they can, then they move in and do their thing. But I don't know. It's hard to say what it was you were experiencing in that dream. But it could have been a benign kind of thing. But the fact that you felt terror, I think to me is a big red flag, because if it's a benign encounter, you wouldn't probably be feeling this primal terror, Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if I said anything in that whole diatribe I just went through or not. I was going on this big roundabout way in my mind. I'm not sure if I got anywhere yet. I feel like I did, but I might not have. I might have lost you guys along the way. So I apologize.
It's okay.
For that. I just
love you anyway.
I just think there's lots of things out there, and I don't think we understand. But I think that there are like catalogs of things that to us exist as spirits, and so we give them a real handy moniker of, oh, it's a ghost. Well, it's just a simple term you throw at something, but it could be any number of things that wouldn't necessarily be a ghost. So I just think we just don't understand much about this stuff. I mean, obviously we don't, but anyway, Very curious.
No, I think that's a good point though. There's just like there are many different species of cats and many
Sure.
different species of animals. Maybe they're in a sense are different, just like you were saying, kind of like different kinds of spirits and entities that are within our world.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the fourth color. We always appreciate your takes, Brent. Thank you. That's nice because, I oftentimes, I do try to share what I can with you guys because I think it's wonderful and I love talking about this stuff. But at the same time, sometimes in my explanations, like, God, am I ever going to get to a point here? What am I doing? Because I keep spiderwebbing off of my points and then I end up in somewhere totally different. I'm like, oh, God, that didn't make any sense. So I hope it makes sense. I'm really trying to. I hope I'm giving you something. But I found the entities have control over fear based on telling them they can do all their antics but not scare me. And the fear stopped, but the antics didn't. Very cool. Yeah, I do think we are ultimately in control of ourselves. It's just that with that glamour, or with that illusion, we are also under the illusion that something else is doing this to us without our permission. And so it makes you feel helpless. It makes you feel like you're not empowered, but you're always empowered. You're right. That's a great point. Thank you for sharing that. We are always empowered. We just are led to believe that we're not. And that goes for everything in life. So,
Yeah.
let's continue on here. Okay, here we go. We just got through the shadow people. Number 12, open up. It's an emergency. 15 years old, I was taking a shower at home. The rest of my family was out, and it was around 9:30 at night. I heard someone knock on the bathroom door while I was showering, so I called out, "I'll be out in a sec," thinking it's just my dad or one of my brothers getting home. But there was silence for a few moments, and then knocking again. Only this time, it was pounding, like someone was banging on it with their fists, trying to break it down barehanded. It was a little creepy, and my dad always loved to prank us, so I didn't think too much of it. I decided to get a towel around me and see what his problem was anyway. But when I opened the door, nobody was there. The house was locked up, no windows open. There were no cars in the driveway. I checked every floor, every room. No one else was home. That was the first occurrence. The weird happenings continued in smaller ways until we moved out of that house, to the point that we imagined it to be some sort of poltergeist, and we named it Edgar. Now, this is an interesting point. This is written by Void Zen. So I've heard many times through the years of doing the show, people have had really aggressive hauntings. And one of the things that they ended up doing was giving it a personality. So they gave it a name, a moniker, like, Charlie, I'm home. Hope you had a good day. Had a long day at work. Just going to kick back, watch some TV. So they start addressing this rambunctious spirit as if it's part of the house. And so many stories have continued on to say, and everything just kind of mellowed out. It was still there, but it wasn't raising hell anymore. And I think that really speaks a lot to me, in that I think in a lot of cases, these beings may be stuck here, or they're in a situation they don't know maybe why they're there, but they're stuck. And I think they just want to be acknowledged. And you've got to understand the emotional stress and psychological stress that would create, to be in a situation where you are around people all the time, but nobody talks to you, nobody addresses you. Well, how do you not go crazy? I mean, how would you not just snap at some point and just decide, well, it's like the little kid, the little toddler. If they don't get any kind of attention, they're going to get the attention, that some kind of attention. It's better than none. So what do the little kids that get ignored do? They start raising hell. They start breaking things. They start going crazy where you can't ignore it. And I think that's a very similar situation to what goes on in a lot of hauntings. Like, they've been ignored over and over and over, and they just want to be acknowledged. So by acknowledging them, I think it causes a sense of peace. It's like, I exist. I'm there now. They know I'm here. And maybe that's all it took. So, getting back to what Ghost Magnet said before, it's like, you kind of got to claim your space. I know you're here, whatever, it's fine. If you want to be here, if you're good and you mean no harm, that's fantastic. But if you hurt, if you cause problems, if you terrify people, I'm going to get you out of here. You know, I think a lot of times if you lay down the rules, they respect it. And if they don't, then you know you got something bigger on your hands and it's going to take some help anyway.
Never relinquish power over your own space.
Ooh, very true. Very true. That's what I've done. And now we're friends as much as you can be with ghosts. Very cool. I think it's perfectly possible. I've lived peacefully in many houses with spiritual presences. They didn't always like everyone that came over. One of the houses I lived in was an old Victorian house, and that house didn't like my cousin at all. Did not like him. And we were we were kind of roughhousing, and he knew it was there because he'd been staying there for a period of time. It was when I was going through an emotional period in my life, and he came and stayed with me. And I gave him one of the bedrooms. And then I got up the next morning and he was on the couch. I'm like, what did you do? He goes, I slept out here. Why'd you sleep out here? Because my bed kept shaking. Something kept shaking my bed all night. I was like, oh, okay. So, and it kept doing things like that to him over and over. And then one time we were going up and down the stairs doing laundry or whatever. And we had started wrestling and we got a little rough. You know, we were 20-some-year-old guys. And just being stupid. And it got a little rough, but we finally, okay, we're done. And went back to doing laundry. And we'd been up, down the stairs so many times. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with these, but there's these razor blade knives that have this long, thin blade that's broken into sections. And it exists as a solid blade, but you can snap off when they get dull and have a fresh razor blade. Well, I don't ever remember having one of these. But all of a sudden, my cousin went down to do some laundry, and he's like, ah! And I hear a thump, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? He goes, dude, you got to come here and help me. I'm like, oh, what's going on? So I got there, and what had happened was somewhere, somehow, one of those little razor blades ended up point into the stairs with the other point going straight up. He stepped full force on with his heel into this blade and put it into his foot. And I was like, oh my God, how could that have happened? And true story. I had to pull that out of his foot and help him get bandaged up. But he didn't like staying at my house. And I didn't blame him.
Wow.
That was true story. Now,
that was pretty possessive spirit over you.
Yeah, I think it was almost like a protective thing. I was like, what do you got a little rough there. I don't like that. Not in my house. So, yeah. David Zismer, what are you saying? I might have told you this before, Brent. But I've listened to all of your podcasts on Pandora from the very first episode. Oh, thank you, David. I'm glad. I'll have a new one up tonight, by the way. It's an interview that we did with talking about Rogue Sasquatch. So I hope you guys like that. And that was a great discussion. I'm going 5 different directions now. I can't think straight. But yeah, those are the stories. But anyway, yeah, it was an ouch for sure. It was definitely an ouch.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's possible that they get protective and they look out for the people in their homes, because I think these are their homes too. All right, let's go to the next one. How are we doing for time? All right, we're actually almost out of time. Can you believe that? 7:48.
What?
7:48. Wow.
No. What?
I'm just saying.
I've been hypnotized.
You are under my spell.
Yeah.
Doing noodle fingers, and that's kind of mystic, right? Either that or I'm flashing gang signs. I don't know what the hell's going on. Sorry, just kidding. Number 13, literal nightmare childbirth. It was early into my now wife's and my relationship. I had a terrible dream about her in childbirth. The dream was very vivid and long, and it was like I spent days in the hospital with her, and everything was in a strange twilight. When it came time to deliver the baby, things went very wrong, and she and the baby both ended up dying. I woke up quite a bit shaken, naturally, but just brushed it off. I'm a nurse and have had to deal with traumatic OB situations before, and I chalked it up to me dealing with stress through a dream. 6 years later, and my wife is pregnant. I've forgotten the dream by now. I get a call in the 3rd trimester while I'm on shift. My wife is going to the emergency room for bad blood pressure reading. I get off my shift and go to meet her there, and as soon as I step into the room, I remember my dream. I'm also super shocked because it's the same room as in the dream. But that's not the spookiest part. It's extra weird because the hospital we were at wasn't even built when I had the dream. So when showtime comes around, my wife gets ready to begin pushing, and it's exactly the same scenario as in my dream. Things start going poorly, but the doctor thinks delivery is still possible. At this point, I finally freak out into panic and demand a C-section for my wife. I can tell the doctor wants to argue, but I think my outburst made her step back and reassess the situation. And she made the call for an emergency C-section. It took 10 minutes for me to get taken back as I'm in the OR and I see my baby come out lifeless. They do everything they can and manage to resuscitate her. In the meantime, my wife is doing poorly and they're scrambling to control her bleeding. I follow the baby out knowing there's really nothing I can do. The baby gets life flighted to another hospital. Before we left, I see my wife is stabilized and headed to the ICU. Both my wife and baby are critical but alive. Today they are both thriving and my baby's 16 months and just a tornado of energy. I don't know that they would be alive if not for that dream and it causing me to freak out and demand a change in plan. That was by JRAS X. Wow.
It's like that person was given a vision.
Right. That if it had gone natural, there's no way either of them would have survived.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool. Wow. That's a pretty beautiful story though, right?
Yeah. That whatever, I mean, however it happened.
Right.
That's a blessing.
You ever see that movie Children of the Corn?
No, I've never seen that.
Oh, okay. Well, then this probably won't make as much sense to you, but this one's called number 14, Child of the Corn. I was biking down a country road I used to live on, and I think it was 8 or 9. On my way home, I suddenly saw this small humanoid-looking being run across the road from one crop field into into a cornfield. The only details I could make out, and I still vividly remember, was that it was completely covered in yellow from neck to feet, and I think it has green on its head. I told my mom about it, and all she could come up with was something about Cabbage Patch Kids. I never saw that thing again, but I still think about it from time to time. Sounds like one of Robin's. Robin Moonshadow, who's watching, I presume, right now. She does the proto-pygmies and little people like gnomes and puckwudgies and duendes and so many other different versions of them. But yeah, that sounds like maybe it was not a person at all. Maybe it was something else. I believe those things are out there too, folks. I just don't think we understand what is going on in our world to the full extent of things going on in our world. Okay, we're on number 15. I think we'll leave that here. What do you think, Sheldon?
Oh my God, the time's just flying.
I know.
What is going on?
It's the portal. It is the paranormal portal. It's a time anomaly. Just saying. That's what I heard. Or it's magic. Could be that too. I don't know.
I like that one. Yeah, let's do magic.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's both. Maybe it's a time anomaly that's magical. But anyway, I believe
I
in
thought
the
you were going to
magic.
press both buttons. Okay.
No. There's a reason I have the buttons and you don't.
True. Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, that brings us to the tail end of our show. But at the tail end of the Night Terrors. I got that Alexa's on too loud. The tail end of the Night Terrors, we do Trail Cam Terrors.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Trail Cam Terrors section of our show. And this is when something is caught on camera, on tape, on film, on video, on photo, whatever. And I don't know about the source of this one. I'm not so sure, but it might be okay. It might be absolutely bunky, but I don't know if this is a credible source or not. I'm not from across the pond. Some of you out there will have to let us know if this is probably bunky or if it might be real. But the article in question that we're going to visit as of right now is the Irish Mirror. IrishMirror.ie. It's their weird news. Paranormal investigators claim spotted the ghost. Well, they didn't claim it was a spotted ghost. They claimed they spotted a ghost.
Ah.
And let's get into the meat and taters. Taters? What's taters, precious? Paranormal Supernatural Investigations Ireland has claimed they've spotted a ghost during a recent investigation at Moore Hall, Mayo, on Friday. The following picture was taken outside of Moore Hall, and after posting it online, the paranormal investigators have received a phenomenal response. The PSI Ireland team decided to survey Moore Hall, and after hearing mysterious stories about the location from people that say the place is haunted. Sorry, I should have breathed. I'm all froggy, hold on. They state visitors to the cursed site describe ominous sensations and the overwhelming feeling that they're being watched by some unseen presence. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Oof.
Waiting for the delay.
Yep. Pause for effect. Do you see it now?
Oh.
That's creepy.
Interesting. It's like kind of greenish.
Right? But you almost see blue in the eyes, don't you? There's like a haze of blue. That's very, very weird. Okay. Let's get back. This is a different... Yeah, it's more zoomed back now. So you can see that was very zoomed in. But wow. And it says, there have been reports of hearing children's laughter and seeing shadows darting through the remaining structure. The woods themselves that encompass the fallen noble home are said to have an oppressive and foreboding silence within them. If you require any further information, please do contact us. In terms of the location's history, PSI Ireland has said that Moore Hall was built by George Moore, but he was warned that the area around Muckloon Hill was cursed by a druid. Local folklore states that the king of Connacht's druid Drithliu was killed near here in 400 AD. The building has a very interesting history. There it is. There's a top-down view of it. It looks like it'd be a neat place, though.
Yeah, just surrounded by woodlands like that. That's kind of
it's
cool.
so tragic, though. These houses were... I mean, the houses really were works of art. These old houses. And now they just sit in this state of
decay.
Decay, yeah. Despite the macabre history, the landowner went ahead and Moore Hall was built by Waterford Cathedral architect John Roberts, with Moore taking up residency in 1795. Shortly afterwards, George Henry Moore suffered a stroke and was left blind. And so the curse of Moore Hall had begun. PSI Ireland continues, George's son John trained as a lawyer and was made president of Connacht, which was a republic at the time of his commission, in 1798. Unfortunately, his position was short-lived affair, following the appointment of Command-in-Chief of Ireland, the first Marquis Cornwallis, in direct response to the Irish Rebellion. There's the team. Good job, guys. John was arrested by the Lord Lieutenant and given the death penalty. George Moore used some of his fortune to secure the best lawyers he could find and had his son's sentence commuted to a deportation order. While on remand awaiting transport ship, John succumbed to the injuries he sustained in custody. Just a few months later, George Moore was also dead. The curse had struck again. The next owner of Moore Hall was also named George Henry Moore. Wow, what are the odds of that? His money was made in horse racing, yet not without tragedy. In 1845, his brother Augustus was jockeying a horse by the name of Mickey Free in the English Grand National, and he fell from his horse during the race and died.
Oh, wow.
Wow, I was right. Oh, look at that. There's another one. Scary image. Yeah, I don't know. It says, have you watched Boggy Creek yet? No, I haven't, Ruger. I want to. But spooks and specters, ghosts and goblins, all the things don't seem mortal. Learn of these and so much more on the Paranormal Portal. Buzzacino, you still at it. Awesome. The Mirror has had a relationship with reporting ghost activities since they reported on the Enfield haunting in 1977. That's the one based in London. Okay. So there's something to it then. Good. Okay. Awesome. He says, I've seen that picture before. It's a picture with high enough res. I can see the background count of the area behind it. I believe it's not just a camera trick. Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it looks very genuine, like that is a face up in there. It almost looks female to me, though. I'm getting like a female thing from this. The cheekbones, the white. I mean, the white could be just a ghost, but it does seem to have more female features, but I don't know what the Moors look like. And it almost looks like it has like one of those. Remember, like in the old Victorian,
I know what you're talking about already.
That ruffly crap that they wear on their chest and chin.
Yeah, it's like on their neck, and it's like all huge and poofy.
Yeah, it looks like that around the neck, like a
yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but yeah, that's what it looks like to me. And I agree with you, Sean. Sean, ladies and gentlemen, is a longtime friend of the show, and he is also someone that is constantly making himself available to those of you out there that might be dealing with negative hauntings. Sorry, I got a notification. But he's been a long time friend of the show, and geez, really? Seriously? Thank you. I don't know why that's happening. My computer updated, and all of a sudden I get every notification. But yeah, Sean is Ian's Magic Oak, or the Magic Oak, and a great, wonderful person who's always been there to listeners of the show that have reached out. So if you have troubles and you need some help, he's the man you want to talk to. Or talk to me and I'll get you in touch with him. Either way. So that is tonight's Trail Cam Terror. I think it's pretty good. That is creepy.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I don't know what else is going on in this picture. I mean, there's a few things that look like they could, like what's going on over in this one. The next window over looks like somebody's ducking away. But
yeah, I did see that too.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, Sean, stop.
These old buildings have a lot of old ghosts, and here's the original photo. You can see where they blew it up from, but there's the window with the apparition in it. Now I don't know. They said the remains, so I don't know what would be behind here, but it does look very dark. What is this over here too? I mean, I don't know what we should see versus what we shouldn't, but that definitely looks like a face in the window. That's all kinds of creepy. So there's apparently still someone hanging around in the old Moor Hall. Those druids. Igir when urban bid. That's an old druidic saying. But anyway. Huh?
Oh, I just said it sounded familiar.
Yeah, it should be. But that's what we got tonight, folks. So I hope you enjoyed this journey through the paranormal portal. Let me close out the Trail Cam Terrors first. Jesus, where'd my mouse go? There it is. Okay. Sorry, I found my way back. Now I got to put you back on the screen. There we are, Sheldon. Did you have a nice journey tonight?
I had this time it felt like 15-minute show.
It really did. It went super, super, super quick.
I know, it always goes fast, but tonight felt like even faster.
Yeah, I know. I agree. It felt like I just started reading stuff and it was time to be done. Ruthie, yep. Party going on in that place. I think so too. Whatever's going on in that Moor Hall. I can tell you from experience, since I was hounded by an entity from Wales in 1977 when I was 5, that chased me to the U.S. Yeah. He says that what is it? Okay, I missed something that he said, but yeah. He said UK stories are usually true and understated. Well, yeah. And they have such a longer history than we have. Like we have a history in this land from, basically for a large part of the country from the 1800s on. I mean, there were people all over the continent before, but it was very sparsely populated back in the 1700s, anywhere away from the coast. So most of our histories start in the 1800s until now, whereas, over in Europe and the UK and all, many other older nations, they have histories going back thousands of years. I mean, really. So it's we are a very young nation, even though there's a lot of things going on here in the North American continent that predate us, and there's of course lots of energetic things that have happened here. But at any rate, we don't have a lot of old buildings, not like to the tune of 500-600 years ago. So
oh yeah.
But that's what we got. Sheldon, did you have anything in closing?
Actually, yes. I want to read what Buzzacino said because it sounds nice and calming.
Go ahead.
May you sleep serenely. May you dream divinely. May your slumber set you free from strain. May your rest revive you. May you wake unweary. May you feel better with a clear thinking brain.
Yeah. Amen.
It's well put.
I think that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you all for being here, being part of the journey.
I forgot.
You did.
Also, if you want to join our little community here in the Discord, stay more connected to us, ask us questions, link things, start a discussion if you'd like, you can join the Discord in the description. I mean, not in the description, but the comments, the chat section. I'm off today. I'm not smooth today.
No, you're doing fine. You've done fine. And thank you all for being here, being a part of our journey as always through the portal. Monday, Tuesday, there will be no live shows. If you're not familiar with the schedule, we do live shows right here on YouTube from Wednesday night through Sunday night. And then I take Monday, Tuesday just to try to remain sane, which may or may not be working. I'm not sure. But it's my efforts are in the right place. But watch, if you're a listener of our podcasts, watch later on tonight, probably much later tonight, but I'm going to get the newest podcast uploaded. It was an interview with Tom Seawood where we talked about Rogue Sasquatch and some of the disappearing 411 things. So it's not completely about that, but we definitely touched on those subjects. Talking with Tom Seawood is really fun. He's a great guy, very knowledgeable, comes with a real Pacific First Nations perspective on things, and it's just a real pleasure to talk to him. But this is his second appearance on the Paranormal Portal podcast, and so I think you're going to enjoy it. If you listen to the first one, you'll definitely appreciate the second one. If you haven't listened to it, then you'll still enjoy it. But Tom's a great guy and a lot of fun to talk to. So that's all I got for you, too. So I hope you guys have a wonderful couple days. I'll miss you, but I promise I'll be back. I always come back. I'm like a boomerang. Throw me out the door. I'll whip around, come right back. I don't know, like a bad rash. How's that? Is that better?
Sure. Yeah.
Might be more accurate. But anyway, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. All right, guys. Love you all. And we'll see you in a couple days. Until then, if you want to reach out to me, you can do so by emailing paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. I'm happy to correspond with people. And if you got a bunch of experiences of your own and wouldn't mind being a guest on the podcast, you can certainly do that. So write me, email me, and talk to me, and we'll figure it out. Anyway, that's it. Love you guys. Have a great night, and sweet dreams.